Hey everyone, welcome back. And if you're reading the title, then you pretty much know what this is. Try not to freak out because a lot of stuff has been happening and it's been making me really nervous. And as much as I try and play off this story each time that I say it and I say how cool this story is, I'm gonna be 110% honest with you. This scared me. This is the only time that I've seen a full apparition. Let's not make that happen again. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this story. This is the story of what happened right before my grandfather passed away. This was literally a month before my grandfather passed away, junior in high school. Just to give you a little bit of backstory, and I know that this is going to be personal, but I did get permission from my mother to share this story. My grandfather was a dialysis patient, and he had been a dialysis patient for many years. I don't want to get off subject. I just want to kind of give you a little bit of a background. My grandfather always went to dialysis. He never missed. He never got lazy and said, I don't feel like going today. He was an ideal patient, okay? On this day, my grandfather refused to go to dialysis. First red flag. He is also refusing to eat. We noticed that he was starting to get a little bit skinnier, and my grandfather was a very tall man. He was, I think he was about 6 feet tall, and he was a very broad-shouldered, very strong, sturdy man. That's how I have always known him. That is how I will always know him. And we started to notice that he was losing weight, and kind of rapidly. But a month prior, and actually, you know what? I'm not going to get into that. I'll tie that in a minute. So he had refused to go to dialysis, okay? I am downstairs. I'm texting my boyfriend at the time. I don't really know too much of what's going on. I just remember that he was refusing to go to dialysis. He did not feel good. So I'm sitting at this couch, and mind you, I'm able to see the staircase to where the opening is. I got that feeling that I need to look up. When I looked up, I saw a woman who I assumed at the time was my mother, staring at me like this on the stairs. Okay, mind you, it's open. There's like a little rail and you can see over. I know some of y'all kind of get what I'm talking about. And I saw her staring at me, and it was like this. Okay, this is what happened. I look up, I see her looking at me, and she's like this, and she runs back up the stairs. The doorbell rings. My mother, who, remember, I thought my mother was on the stairs looking at me. My mother comes from the kitchen to go answer the front door. And by this time, I kid you not, this is less than 10 seconds that this is happening. Okay, sorry, my camera wanted to cool off, and, you know, right in the middle of recording. So basically, let's go back. I'm sitting on the couch. I am looking at the stairs. I look up and I see who I thought at the time was my mother peering down at me, staring at me, you know, like face to face. Within 1 second, she turns and runs back up the stairs. I thought that was my mother. Then the doorbell rings. I see my mother coming out of the kitchen on the first floor, walking to the front door. I was I could not explain what happened until this day. I think about it and I'm just like, did that really happen? Really freaked me out. So my mom goes and opens up the door. It is my aunt and my little cousin, and I'm still sitting there just like a bump on a log. I did not know what to do. I was literally paralyzed, and I don't want to say with fear, but at that time it really freaked me out, because here I am seeing this. But it was weird because I was petrified, but I didn't feel scared like what I saw was evil or malicious. I didn't see anything like that. So My grandfather was refusing to go to dialysis. My mom, you know, calls my aunt. They come over. That's who I saw. Mind you, I just saw the woman run upstairs. The only person that was upstairs at the time was my grandfather, and he was in this room that I am in right now. This used to be his bedroom when he was living with us. So right away, my mom and my tia, they go upstairs immediately. Okay. That same day is the day that my grandfather went into the hospital. Okay, he died a month later, pretty much almost exactly to the date. So I really had to keep it to myself for a while. It wasn't until the second experience that I told my mother exactly what was going on. Okay, so my father and I, we are driving to the house. We have one bedroom, which is the bedroom that is right next to this one, that has a window that views out to the backyard and to the oncoming street because we live in a cul-de-sac. I got that feeling that was like, you need to look up. So I finally look up from my phone, and when I do, I have a perfect view of the window. And what I saw really freaked me out. I saw a woman standing at the window, staring out. The woman had very strong facial features, facial structure, just very strong. You know, her stare was, and again, I was freaked out, but I wasn't afraid like, oh my God, there's something evil there. But it really did just kind of, you know what I mean, when I saw it initially. She had her hair parted down the middle. I distinctly remember that. But mind you, I have astigmatism, and I can still make out pretty much everything. My focus is just not as sharp as it should be. So that's the only thing that I can say. Like, I wasn't able to see like what pattern was her dress, you know, things like that. But I could definitely see her facial features. Like, I remember her cheekbones distinctly. Like, they were very strong. They were just very defined almost. And her stare was just very, just like that. I get home, the first thing that I do is I walk through the door, and I'm running up the stairs, and I'm like opening up the door, and there is nobody there. I check my grandfather's door, I'm in here, nobody there. So of course I'm freaked out, but I'm not afraid. Like, there's just this sense of, it's okay. It's okay. That's how I felt. And again, I am a sensitive. I can definitely pick up on a lot of things. I'm not like a medium. I am nothing like that. Okay. I don't see people. This was just something that was revealed to me. And basically how this coincides is, I told my mom finally, and I said, look, this happened to me the day that Grandpa went into the hospital, and today I saw this woman in the window, and she was just staring out. And my mom said, well, can you describe her? So I did. And I explained how her hair was low, like in a low like ponytail or bun. You know, she had very strong facial features. She was definitely young. My mother comes back with the picture, and I almost passed out, because the picture was the exact replica of what I saw staring out the window. The hair, the strong facial features, the strong facial contours, everything. Like, even the way that she was just staring. And I told my mother, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, that's who I saw. That's who I saw. That's my great grandmother. Like, I mean, I was 17 at the time. I was freaking out. This was the first, I've had plenty paranormal experiences, but never have I seen an apparition, like an actual person, much less someone that's related to me. I mean, it really freaked me out. Now, earlier when I was talking about how my grandfather, back before any of this ever happened, in October, my grandfather came downstairs for breakfast one day, and he was talking to my mother, and he said, mija, se me pareció mi mamá. He's basically saying my mother appeared to me last night. And when my mother said, well, you know, where, you know, where was she? And he was saying, you know, next to my bedside. Everything started to click for me. This was the only time that I was like, oh my God, I have just seen a ghost. Nobody had any clue that my grandfather had cancer. Nobody knew until it was too late, and he passed away a month later. So my great-grandmother appeared to my grandfather a month before he went into the hospital. She appeared to me the day that he went into the hospital, and the way that she did it, like, was staring at me, was like, hello, hello. Because when I looked up, she ran upstairs. Like, you could literally hear her running upstairs. And right after that, my mother and my tia, they ran right upstairs to go and get my grandfather, and they took him to the hospital. Now, when I saw her again, when I saw the picture and all of that had happened, this was right before he was coming home to, you know, to end his days here, in the comfort of his bed, his home, his family. Ever since my grandfather passed away, we have never seen her again. I do believe that she knew that this was going to happen. I think that she knew and was almost not necessarily like warning him, but just kind of letting him know, like, I'm gonna see you really soon. You're only seeing glimpses of me, but you're gonna see me really soon. When I saw her, I felt like she was just saying, like, you need to get up here, okay? Because the severity of his health was really bad, and it deteriorated like that. So I really feel like she was just trying to get our attention and saying, get upstairs, get him to the hospital now. Okay, that is how I interpret it. When I saw her again in the window, I really just interpreted it as, it's almost time. I never felt scared. Of course, from the initial shock, but that wore off, especially once I knew who it was. But this is something that has always just stuck with me, and I can't erase what I have seen. It doesn't scare me, but it did frighten me initially. It really did mess with me for a while. When I saw her each time, the initial shock, it did frighten me, but you know, I was able to understand and have a better grasp and a better understanding of what was going on. Take of it what you will. So yeah, this is my first story of what happened to me. Very mild as to a lot of the stuff that I have experienced, but I hope that you enjoyed this. And if you enjoy story time and you want me to do different types of story time, not necessarily like paranormal related, then let me know. Depending on how good this one goes, I may or may not be uploading another one, but you never know, just because I'm a Halloween baby, like I said, and sometimes I just like scaring people. Go subscribe for more videos. If you like it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and let me know what else you want to see. And I hope that you've been checking out my most recent makeup tutorials, or maybe like all of them. And if you haven't, happy catching up. And I will see you in the next video.